Hey guys, it's Jeremy here, Metal Music Meltdown, back with another video. What I have for today, guys, is my next installment of my top 10 albums of each year. I started back in 1970. That's where metal all began. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. Definitely check out my playlist. Like I said, I started back in 1970. As you can see from the title of this video, I'm up to 2002. So I've been working my way through year by year, getting to present date. And like I said, if you want to check out my other list, definitely check out the playlist and list your favorite songs from those years down below, as well in this video. Let me know down below your favorite albums from 2002. So let's jump right in, guys. At number 10, I have Soulfly's third studio album entitled 3. I love Soulfly. Max Cavalera is one of my metal heroes. Love all his projects, really good stuff. A lot of people aren't into Soulfly as much, but I think they're really good. Really simplistic riffs, but really catchy and really heavy. Always loved that band. At number 9, I have the ninth studio album from Dio entitled Killing the Dragon. Dio's always been my favorite metal singer of all time. So just a small guy in stature, but he's got such a powerful voice. Rest in peace. He's got some killer albums. This one's not one of my favorite from the Dio solo project, but still a really solid album. Definitely check it out. At number 8, I have Damage Done by Tranquility. It's their sixth studio album from the melodic death metal act from the Gothenburg sound. One of my favorite melodic death metal bands from that sound and era. Really good stuff. They don't really put out a weak album in my opinion, and pretty much love all their albums. They're all really solid. At number 7, I have Immortals, Sons of the Northern Darkness, their 7th studio album. I'm not a big black metal guy, but like I've said in other videos, Immortals, one of the few bands I really do enjoy. I like the first wave of black metal scene. It's one of the ones I come really into. And this album has a ton of thrash elements, so I'm really into it. I'm a huge thrash metal guy, so I really gravitated towards this album a lot. And if you're not into black metal quite as much as like I am, definitely check this album out. It has a lot of cool thrash elements. You'll really enjoy it. At number 6, I have High on Fire's second studio album, Surrounded by Thieves. Super underrated band in my opinion. They should be bigger. Really killer stuff, sludgy, stoner metal, really good stuff. Again, not really a weak album in my opinion. And yeah, definitely check these guys out if you're not familiar with them. All their albums are killer. I always look forward to new stuff from them. And definitely a band not to miss. And number 5, I have Destroyer 666 from Australia, kind of a blackened thrash metal band. This is their third studio album entitled Cold Steel for an Iron Age. Quickly becoming one of my new favorite bands. I got introduced to these guys from watching Hudson Valley Squares on Sea of Tranquility. I mentioned it before, but Ryan Scow was a huge fan of these guys, and it kind of got me to check it out. And I've never looked back. Love all their stuff. Whole discography is killer. Their latest release was my album of the year. Just really killer band. Really good stuff. Number 4, I have Amana Marth Versus the World, their 4th studio album. One of their better albums in my opinion. Big fan of Amana Marth. The more recent stuff, the albums are starting to kind of sound the same. But their older stuff, there's some standout albums, and this is definitely one of them. Death and Fire was a killer track on this album. Versus the World, the title track. Just some really good stuff top to bottom. If you're into that like Viking themed melodic death metal, definitely check these guys out. At number 3, I went with Mastodon's Remission. It's their debut album. Really good stuff. Love this band. They're like a progressive metal band out of, I think they're from Atlanta, but all their albums are killer. Another band I don't really have an album of theirs I didn't like at all. And I always look forward to new material from them. And, excuse me. Some people might not be familiar with their older stuff, but definitely go back and check it out. It's really killer. And for top 1 and 2, I kind of, at first I was going to put what I have number 2 at number 1 almost automatically. But then when I really thought about it, I wanted to put the other album at number 1 instead. And I'll kind of explain why. So at number 2, I have the mighty Opeth with Deliverance. It's my favorite band right now in metal. And at first I just assumed, okay, well, this is going to be number 1. I love all their albums. They're killer. And another album came out from this year that is my favorite album from that band. But Opeth, this isn't my favorite album. It's probably a top 6 or 7. But I really thought about it. If I was to make like a top 50 metal albums of all time, my number 1 I decided to put would probably be in that list, but this one wouldn't be because I would pick other Opeth albums over it. So based on that kind of mind thinking, I decided to switch them. So I dropped Opeth at number 2. It's their Deliverance album again, their 6th studio album. This is when they put back to back. Deliverance was in this year, and then the very next year they put out Damnation, which was like the softer version. They kind of went hard and soft kind of thing. And it's a really killer album, super heavy. Definitely one of their best, but like I said, doesn't quite match up to some of their other albums as a whole. So I decided to put it at number 2. And at number 1, I went with the 2nd studio album from Agalloc, entitled The Mantle. Fucking masterpiece of an album. Definitely a top 50 album of all time for sure. Maybe even top 20. I haven't really done a list like that in a while, but I want to do one soon. I love this fucking album, top to bottom. It's just killer. Another band that should have been a lot bigger than they are. I definitely check them out. I think they have a new album coming out this year or soon. I think they reformed. I can't quite remember. But killer band. A lot of people aren't familiar with these guys, and they're way overlooked by too many people, and they should be way bigger than they are. Just a really, really killer band. They have elements of like folk metal, some black metal mixed in there, doom. Just a really cool sounding band. Definitely check them out. So that's my list, guys. List down below what your top picks would be from this year. And until next time, keep it metal.